My name's Colin Baker, and this is my audience. Today I'm going to be persuading them to help legalize euthanasia. Every year, many people suffer unnecessarily from terminal illnesses. Voluntary euthanasia could ease their suffering, but it's not justifiable in every case. Therefore, euthanasia should be legal in some cases, but not in others. There should be limits set. Someday I might be a vegetable, and if that happens, I would like to be euthanized, most likely, so I need you guys to know more about it. I recently read a book on euthanasia called Final Exit, and I did a lot of research on the internet. Plus, me and my dad got into a debate about it, so that made me even more interested in the topic. With the exception of Oregon and Texas, every state has a law that patients that are terminally ill and suffering can't be euthanized even if they want it to be. Now that I've gone over the very basics of euthanasia, I will define it. The American Heritage Dictionary defines euthanasia as the act or practice of ending the life of an individual suffering from a terminal illness or an uncurable condition, as by lethal injection or the suspension of extraordinary medical treatment. The form of euthanasia in which a physician administers drugs to end the patient's life is illegal at this time. So now I'll explain why euthanasia should be legalized on a federal level. Like I said, euthanasia has the potential to ease suffering in the terminally ill individuals. In Final Exit, Derek Humphrey claims that voluntary euthanasia should be an option for the terminally ill. Because terminally ill people will not recover from their illness, their quality of life is often severely reduced. Many of these people will suffer from chronic and terrible pain due to their illness. Euthanasia provides a means to end their suffering. When these people decide that they no longer wish to live, euthanasia can help. Let's say someone has lung cancer because they smoked their whole life. Not only will they be in extreme pain and sorrow because they're about to die, but they will also be in a horrible mental state because of their regret of deciding to smoke in the first place. It's their life and they have the right to end it. Also, the person who is terminally ill may have a family, and it'd be hard for the family and the terminally ill to deal with this. Now that I've explained what euthanasia is, I will address two common arguments against its potential legalization and their flaws. Some claim that the legalization of voluntary euthanasia will inevitably lead to the legalization of involuntary euthanasia. According to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, some claim that legalizing voluntary euthanasia would put us on a slippery slope to the legalization of involuntary euthanasia. These critics cite the events which occurred in Nazi Germany as evidence that such practices can become normal in society. But if we just stick to the laws and the Death with Dignity Act, this would not happen. However, according to the historyplace.com, euthanasia of Nazi Germany did not reflect the form of euthanasia they should legalize today. The euthanasia that took place in Nazi Germany was non-voluntary and does not represent the progress from voluntary to non-voluntary euthanasia. According to Oregon.gov, voluntary euthanasia was legalized in Oregon as of 1997. According to Saves.com, voluntary euthanasia in Oregon has obtained excellent results and hasn't resulted in the legalization of non-voluntary euthanasia so far. Now that you know why voluntary euthanasia does not lead to non-voluntary euthanasia, I will explain the way in which some claim that euthanasia may cause people to die unnecessarily. According to Final Exit, some critics of euthanasia claim that a cure may be invented the day after somebody dies. This is impossible, yet very unlikely. This is just a lame excuse to keep euthanasia illegal. The author goes on to say, in the event of a complete cure for a disease being suddenly found, it is unlikely to help a patient who has already been seriously damaged by the ravages of this disease. Lastly, progress in medicine comes after years of research and testing, followed by a lengthy evaluation by the FDA. So, now that you know that medical science is unlikely to produce in a timely cure for those with a terminal disease, I will conclude with this statement. In conclusion, euthanasia has the potential to ease suffering in terminally ill individuals. Some claim that the legalization of voluntary euthanasia will inevitably lead to the legalization of involuntary euthanasia. According to Final Exit, some critics of euthanasia claim that a cure may be discovered for the deceased individual's illness the day after they died, but like I said, that's very unlikely. So, here's what you can do to help. The solution would be to get the Death with Dignity law passed on a federal level, instead of just in Texas and Oregon. In order to do this, you'd need to have a decent proposal of your own making, backed up by extensive research, and make your law applicable to the greater majority, giving it a wide appeal and a better chance of approval. Write up a bill explaining why we should pass the Death with Dignity law with all the reasons I've stated. Get the bill introduced by convincing our local representative with your proposal. Wait for the committee to review the bill. The debate could take a long time, and the committee may call upon experts for informed opinions. Find experts who will support your proposal so that your bill can pass the first reading. Wait for the bill to be given a second reading and reach a favorable verdict by getting as many representatives on your side as possible. The best way to do this is to get support from the general public. Then the bill will be passed around for a third reading. Then it will be passed to Congress. Congress will decide if they want to pass it on to the President. If they do, then you have to make sure he's convinced. This may seem a little far-fetched, so if you want to do this, if you don't want to do this, you can go online and go to Google and type in euthanasia petition, and then just fill out the petition for it. There's lots of them. So in conclusion, nobody wants to die, but nobody wants to suffer. So now that you know, I urge you to try and pass the law on a federal level. But if not, just go to Google, like I said. The end.